everyone, and welcome to Never Seen It. This is a podcast about movies that we haven't seen yet. I'm your host today. My name is Betsy, and I'm here with Trent.
My name is Trent.
Your name is Trent, and we will not have it any other way. Some people like to think your name is actually Trenton, but that's not a thing.
We have discussed this already on this show. Quite recently, if I remember.
I don't remember because I don't know what's happening one day to the next most of the time.
It's true. We've done over 400 of these, Betsy, and they all kind of run together sometimes.
It's true. And we're getting ready to go on vacation, so there's a lot of stuff rattling through my brain at the moment.
Oh, yeah, in more ways than one.
Well, and actually, we're recording this in advance, and at the time the episode comes out, we will actually be on vacation. And there is a special connection that we didn't plan to the movie we're talking about today and where we're going on vacation. For the third week of May, for Big Movie May, biggest movie May, if you will, we are covering another David Lynch movie. We have done 2 on Patreon, so you can go over there if you want to hear those episodes for Eraserhead and The Elephant Man. But no David Lynch viewing would be complete without Mulholland Drive. And Trent, I have seen Mulholland Drive once. You have never watched this movie.
Correct. This will be the third David Lynch movie we're covering in this year, 2026, and I'm getting a little overwhelmed.
In like a good way or a scared way? How are you feeling? Because I think you liked both of the movies we have watched so far.
100%.
But we also started at the beginning where we did The Elephant Man, which by all accounts is probably the most accessible David Lynch movie.
Yeah, we talked about that in that episode.
And we also watched Eraserhead, which is an experience to say the least.
Sure.
So I would think if you know anything about Mulholland Drive, you're assuming this is going to be much closer to Eraserhead than to The Elephant Man.
I mean, it remains to be seen. Before we actually sat down to record this intro, I told Betsy, it's probably going to be a really short intro because I know like 4 things about Mulholland Drive. First one, it's David Lynch. Second one, Naomi Watts. Fourth one, it's fucking weird.
What was the third one? Because you
I
skipped
don't remember.
it.
I don't remember what the third one is.
So you're going into this like you did the other 2, pretty much blind. You just
Very
know,
blind, yeah.
You know vibes. You know there is a certain sense of what a David Lynch movie is.
I remembered the third one now, Betsy, because speaking of weirdness, I know that there is a stage.
There's a stage.
There's a stage. There's like a theater where people are watching something on stage. I have no idea what is happening on that stage.
Well, you also know one other thing, broadly speaking, and it's that it's Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because Mulholland Drive
is
a
in
place
LA.
in LA.
Exactly.
And at the time, as I mentioned, that this episode is getting released, we are in Los Angeles.
We will be in the greater Los Angeles area when this episode is released on, the 17th?
And in the grand tradition of us never having a plan, we didn't do this on purpose.
No, you think we have a plan for this shit?
I literally looked at the calendar yesterday and went, wait a second.
Yeah, by the way,
Hold on.
we are recording this on May 3rd just to pull back the curtain here.
Because we have to get all this done before we go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But when we're in Los Angeles, we've been talking about hitting up some of these places that are relevant to David Lynch because we have discovered through watching these other 2 movies, we have a growing appreciation for this filmmaker. And I know that LA is the land of David Lynch. So it's not to say we couldn't do some of these things. You know, he was infamous for hanging out at the Bob's Big Burger. Mulholland Drive is a place. They filmed the whole movie there. I think it is highly likely we are going to cross paths with some of the things we're going to see in this movie today.
Yeah, and in addition to all the other Hollywood-type things that we're going to be doing while we are in LA, we're not going there just for that. We're actually going to LA for a wedding, but we're going to sprinkle in some touristy things along the way. But yes, we're talking about all of these other things because, Betsy, again, I don't know anything else about Mulholland Drive other than those 4 things that I said.
Well, and as far as I'm concerned, I watched this movie, I think before you and I started dating. I want to say I watched this in my apartment circa 2009 to 2011, something like that. And the same way I felt about The Godfather, I don't think I was ready for David Lynch. But if I didn't think I was ready for
Was
The
that
Godfather,
your one and only David Lynch movie you had seen?
Yes, Trent.
Okay.
I've been mostly experiencing his movies with you and in the last 6 months.
Yeah, so I guess what better way to start on this show than by doing Mulholland Drive? Maybe the one that he is most known for? Do you think that is a true statement?
I think that if people are rattling off movies by him, it's probably going to be this or Blue Velvet, another movie we haven't seen.
Yep.
Or they're going to talk about Twin Peaks, a show we started watching.
Yeah, we saw the first season of Twin Peaks, and that's it.
I don't even know if we made it to the end. I'm not convinced we finished season 1.
I'm 100% convinced we got to the end of season 1,
Trent,
did not continue.
You are often 100% convinced about things that I know
I
you're
didn't say I was
about.
right. I just said I'm convinced.
But that means I wasn't ready for Mulholland Drive. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had just heard it was a movie of significance. I didn't know anything about his particular style. And in the last 6 months, I've had my eyes opened a little bit wider to what he's about. And I think I'm better prepared to watch this today for the vibes, as opposed to worrying so much about understanding Mulholland Drive. Because here's the thing I will tell you, Trent. This is not a movie that is meant to be understood. We said this when we watched Eraserhead. He is making a movie for you to experience.
After watching those other 2 movies, I think I am a lot better prepared to go into Mulholland Drive knowing in my heart of hearts that it's going to be fucking weird. And I think I'm ready for week 3 of Biggest Movie May.
Then let's do it. We're going to go and watch Mulholland Drive, and we will be right back. And we're back. That was Mulholland Drive. And Trent, I could tell from the look on your face that you are thoroughly understanding exactly what we watched. And yet you have no questions, and that you know exactly what this conversation is going to end up being.
I know exactly what I'm going to say as a reaction to this. In the same way that I did for the first 2 David Lynch movies that I witnessed this year. And of this trilogy of movies, I am feeling the most puzzled by this one, for good reason, I think.
So, Trent, let's just start with a simpler question.
Okay.
Would you say you liked Mulholland Drive?
I don't know.
Or do you think you were going to benefit from this conversation?
God, I hope so.
You didn't dislike it? Or is it just you're so confused right now?
Okay. Let's try. Let's
try to break this down.
Let's try. I'm not even trying to break it down. I'm just trying to have a conversation for you fine folks out there. Because wow. Okay. First of all, Naomi Watts. Good Lord, is she amazing in this. Second of all, what the fuck?
Let's start with the basics.
Yeah, let's
Naomi
start with the
Watts
basics.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck?
I kind of want to. Like, the only emotion that I can really do right now, I want to cry because I can't absorb any more here.
You are so overwhelmed with stuff that your brain can't even compartmentalize it. Okay, well, Trent, let's start with what we know. We don't know fucking anything.
Okay, here's what I know. David Lynch is all about fucking dreams, okay? I'm trying to put this together in real time here. And guys, literally, we went upstairs, got a drink of water, plopped back down here, and we are recording this episode for you. I've had 0 time to process this, so this is all going to be in real time, and I'm just vamping here to allow my brain to process what it thinks it knows about the movie.
Okay, well, let me offer you some guidance here.
Okay.
So I have seen this movie, so I did a little bit of digging as to, popular interpretations, things people think you need to know, or ways people have watched this movie. Because David Lynch famously is like, fuck you guys, figure out what it means.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's not up to him to offer an explanation. It's up to you to decide what it means. And there's a lot of different interpretations. So, offering number one, Trent, there are two distinct parts of the movie.
Yeah.
It's everything in the first part up until the cowboy shows up and says, wake up, sweetheart, it's time to get up. And then all of a sudden it's darker, it's stranger. Betty is now Diane. It's very confusing because all of a sudden we're like, wait, what the fuck is happening?
It's not even Cowboy Betsy. It's when they turn the key on the box.
Yes, somewhere at this part, though, is the end of part one, start of part two. So the first interpretation is part one is all a dream. Comment.
I'm leaving a really long pause here to to show you folks how long I'm actually thinking about this. So, part one being a dream, that means the dream is actually quote unquote of Diane. So Diane is the one in the second part of the movie. She is the one having this dream of coming to Hollywood and trying to make it big.
Now, I'll give you an offering why this part makes sense. This interpretation makes sense. At the beginning of the movie, we see what is very strange. This is 3 for 3, where he starts his movies with kind of this weird dreamlike imagery.
Yeah.
All 3 of these movies we've watched have started with something abstract that makes no sense. It's given to us out of context. Here, it's like a jitterbug contest. And then Diane or Betty with 2 old people, and it's like Hollywood stuff. But then you see somebody, the camera is moving in a way that you were laying down on a pillow.
Yeah. I do remember that it is somebody from a first person perspective. You don't know who you are in that moment. You're laying down. And again, watching this for the first time, I'm just going with the flow. I'm not asking questions. We're not pausing. We're just going for it. So like with a lot of his movies, I'm sure this demands that you watch it more than once. But now that you say that, you're right. There is a moment here where somebody's laying down for bed. And I don't remember if it is the same bed or not, if it's got the same pillow and sheets and whatnot that she wakes up from.
They're red, so they're pretty distinct. I think it is, but again, having only seen this once in 20 years, it's a little hard to say.
Well, and think about this. If Diane, if I say Diane, I'm talking about the second part of the movie.
You could also say Naomi Watts if that would keep things straight for you.
Well, whatever. Using this explanation that the first part is a dream. What I'm assuming is that Diane is an actress who came to Hollywood, met a bunch of people, failed, and these are the people that she had met along the way. She's had relationships. She knows all the people from the first part of the movie, and they're just characters in this dream, where her story about coming to Hollywood is true. She does come from a small town in Canada. She maybe was this idyllic version of what, a cute blonde girl coming to Hollywood wanting to make it big is in her own mind.
Most people who come to Hollywood have that wide-eyed wonder, and they're like, I'm going to make it like a big star. Gee whiz, mister, put me in the pictures.
Which is why it makes more sense that she is acting this way with this complete stranger who is in this house that is not supposed to be there.
Oh, and it's absolutely bananas, the stuff that they're doing. This absolute stranger is just like out there solving mysteries with you. We're just trying to figure out who she is. And the way they go about it, the energy that these two are delivering the entire time they're on this quest is very strange. It's very like, well, golly, maybe it could be this thing.
Right. Making huge leaps. And it just so happens that, it is what it is. Because in your own mind, you already know what the destination is.
So if you interpret it, the end of the movie is the reality, and this is all that person having a dream, it makes a lot of sense. I get the context, and it's all the stuff about you're hopping around and it's going from scene to scene, people we've never met, how did we get here, what's happening?
It's also your mind trying to explain why something happens without having the context. At its core, the movie is kind of about Hollywood and all the backroom deals that are happening. And in the case of Diane, She is maybe trying to explain to herself in her own mind why I'm not getting these parts. Well, it's because there's shadowy people who are saying to people, don't hire this woman because of XYZ. There's a conspiracy against me, and that's why I'm not successful.
It's not my fault. Never would be my fault. It couldn't just be I'm not good enough. It's obviously a shadowy thing. There's guys in back rooms. There's guys on the telephone, guys shoving headshots across the table saying, this is the girl.
Yeah.
And there's no other way around it. The cowboy's going to threaten you and say, if you do good, you'll see me one more time. If you don't do good, you'll see me 2 more times. None of this makes any goddamn sense.
Again, it is her brain's, again, going along with this theory. Her brain is telling herself, this is what it actually is like in Hollywood. The reason why I haven't had a job in X amount of days, months, years, whatever, is because there is this these shadowy figures in Hollywood that are conspiring against me. And clearly I haven't done anything wrong. And when I do try in my own dreams, I am the best actress that has ever been.
I just show up and I'm immediately successful.
Yeah.
The way that Betty goes into a single audition, she has not been in this town for very long. It's like 2 days. She goes into an audition and everybody is wowed by her. She is the
I am wowed.
She is the single greatest actress they have seen in this audition process. And they're just like, wow, oh my God. Except for the director who was really clocked out.
And then the casting director says, I'm going to take her from here. I'm going to take you over to meet this hotshot director on the set. They're already doing auditions here. I'm just going to bring you over here and you're going to audition for him. But it was already predetermined she wasn't going to get that part. But she's making eyes at the director and maybe there's something there. And Betsy, trying to extrapolate whatever it is, whatever meaning out of this movie, I know it's all going to be complete bullshit, just as whatever kind of explanation that you and I can put into these microphones and record for you fine people. I think there are objective truths that you can extract from Mulholland Drive. At its core, again, this is a movie about Hollywood. And how, yeah, there are things that conspire against you as an artist, as an actor, as a writer, as a director, whatever. And you as one individual are not big enough or powerful enough to move the pieces in a way that you maybe think should. Which is maybe why when he cast this movie himself, maybe that's why he cast a whole bunch of nobodies.
In a sense, yeah, because Justin Theroux gets top billing. You think, oh, Naomi Watts is the star. Sure, but she is not top billed in the movie because he was technically more famous than her in 2001. This is before The Ring. This is before she really broke in America. Mulholland Drive put Naomi Watts on the map. We would not have Naomi Watts' career if we didn't have this movie. But you're right. It helps us following this mystery if the main people are not that famous. However, there is something else he is doing in that all of the side characters are all people who were very, very famous in their time.
Robert Forster is like third billing out of everybody in the opening credits. He's got one scene. He's on the screen for like a minute. He has a couple of lines. That's it. I was waiting to see when he was going to show up again.
But you've also got people like Ann Miller. I told you, Ann Miller is a Hollywood fucking legend. She was an incredible dancer.
Yeah.
Lee Grant, who a year ago we did not know who this was, but she was in one of the movies we watched for the Revisionist Almanac for 1976. She's an Academy Award winner from the previous year. She won in 1975 for a movie. You and I didn't know who she was a year ago, but I was like, why does she seem so familiar?
She looked really familiar. She was in that Voyage of the Damned movie, which we kind of liked. We kind of didn't like. It was kind of middling.
She's good in it.
Yeah, but
obviously memorable if we recognized her in this.
Sure, and that's the thing. I recognized her at the time, but I just didn't know from where because I've only seen her in that one thing. But yeah, you're right. You have a couple of different, like, legendary Hollywood actresses in this movie. Maybe that is kind of a wink and a nod to him talking about Hollywood and how Hollywood puts people out to pasture sometimes. And by golly, he's going to cast him in his movie. Which, Betsy, I mean, talking about Hollywood, talking about other movies here, I got two distinct just realizations that this movie reminded me of. One of them being Pulp Fiction, because you have all these different groups coming together. Some of them are connected, some of them are not. There's a weird disconnect in both different movies where one movie is kind of told in different orders, like the timeline isn't quite chronological.
It's non-linear storytelling.
Right. And there is some element of crime happening in both movies. Of course, they're both happening in California. And the other movie I was thinking of was The Nice Guys, of all movies.
You know,
It's another like crazy thing that happens at the beginning of the movie, and then the rest of the movie is just trying to put all the pieces together, and you have some fucking knuckleheads coming together to figure it all out.
That did also pop into my head. I think being in the Hollywood Hills helps. That's part of it.
It does.
Now, Trent, I'm going to say two things as a response to that. One, there is another movie you have not considered that was extremely relevant to David Lynch and makes a lot of sense when you stop to consider it.
Okay, hit me.
David Lynch's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. And you've got this girl having a dream where people she knows in real life are playing other characters in her dream. If we are believing interpretation number one, this is all a dream.
Okay,
and when she wakes up, here's who they are in real life. And that's one interpretation of The Wizard of Oz. It was all a dream.
Yeah, and you know, in The Wizard of Oz, everybody's playing a different kind of character. They're not analogous to what their real life counterparts are. So she's just taking the visage of these people and applying it to whatever story that her mind is telling her.
And that's how dreams inherently work, where it's like, I'll have a dream about somebody, and I'm like, I know it was you, but it wasn't you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not acting like you. You're not even sounding like you, but it's your face.
It's your face, but it's a completely different person, or it's a completely different person, but it's you.
Or
that's how that's how dreams work.
Yeah, or this is how I see you, or how I wish I see you, things like that. But we keep on talking about this whole dream thing where it's the first part and the second part and things like that. What is the other one you haven't mentioned yet?
Yes, so the other thing that you just touched on is the non-linear storytelling. One interpretation is every story has a beginning, middle, and an end, but not necessarily in that order. When you are watching this movie, which is the beginning, which is the middle, and which is the end? Because we see at the beginning, there is a car accident. But then when Diane wakes up, she goes to this party where she's in a car, and then after the party, she hires a hitman. But did that happen in that sequence? Is the end of the movie the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, I did have a similar thought here, especially when you introduce the concept of amnesia.
Amnesia!
Where you don't know who you are. You can be whoever it is that you want to be. And I thought when we are introduced to Diane, I thought that was going to be way in the future. Like they open up the box, something happens, we time travel to the future, they have both changed their names for whatever reason, and now they live this other life. That was my interpretation.
Maybe that's what's happening, Trent. We don't fucking know.
I know we don't know. But in the course of watching the movie for the first time, that's how my brain is trying to fill in the gaps. Like we have this blank canvas with Rita/Camilla. She can be whoever it is that she wants to be because she doesn't know who she is. Fine. The only thing that we know for sure is that she's got this bag full of money, and inside the bag there's a key. A key to what? We have no idea.
But think about the end of the movie. When Diane is at that restaurant, she hands that guy a bag of cash, and he says, I'm going to leave a key when it's done. So again, another parallel. So
it's a different key, though.
It's a different key. It's different money. But we also see in the beginning part of the movie when they go to Diane's apartment, quote unquote.
Right.
There is a body there. At the end of the movie, she's having some kind of fucking meltdown and she kills herself.
Right. So in that case, that's Diane. Then who's Betty?
Exactly, Trent.
Who is
Betty? Who is Diane? Because this is another thing you need to think about. Is this a movie about identity? because there's a lot of people playing multiple roles. And it's also, who are you really? Who do you want to be? What the fuck is going on here? How did we get here?
It's also, when you go to a brand new place, you can reinvent yourself.
When you go to Hollywood.
Yeah, Betty could be anybody that she wants to be at that moment. She could change her name. She could be an actress. She could be a fucking hooker on the street. And it's just whatever it is that you fall into. And maybe at the end of the movie, when she is suddenly Diane, well, she's fallen on some hard times. And the only people who are still there are the people that she was dreaming about before.
And it's not even just that. When you go to Hollywood, especially if you want to be an actress, it's all predicated on your talent and your skill pretending to be someone else.
Yes.
So at the end of the movie, we see this kind of run down Diane, but in the first part of the movie, Betty just turns it on. Like, who the hell is this person? Because we see that moment where she is running lines with Rita.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she does it there, when she does the scene, it is corny and silly and kind of terrible. Like, she's not bad, but it's a bad scene. And she says, this is a bad scene. I hate this scene.
Sure. But you know what? She's also a first-time actress. It makes sense that she's falling back on whatever training that she has. And this is just how she is deciding to do it at that moment.
But when she gets into the audition, I think it's her intention to do it the way she practiced, but it's not until she hears that actor saying, oh, every actress has done it exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I'm just reacting to whatever they're doing, that she chooses on a dime to change it completely. She's like, oh, his hand is hovering on my ass. What if he puts it on my ass? I'm just going to put it there and I'm going to start kissing this guy and I am going to suck all the air out of this room into my vicinity. And the way he never breaks this shot, we are just locked in on this audition. I know there was a moment there when they finally finished the scene and everybody is like cut and the air comes back into the room. You had a very big reaction to that.
I did. I told Betsy when I was on the couch, I'm gonna need a minute after that. Because, as I said, holy shit, Naomi Watts. I know that you are playing a part here. I know that this part is kind of it's more than a soap opera part, but it's that kind of a scene. It's that kind of an energy. But she put so much extra into it, and she had me captivated. And I know that that is the intention of the scene. It's the intention of the audition, to do the best acting job you can possibly do. And she nailed it.
And I don't know if she knows in the moment that she nailed it, if Betty knows that, but everybody else in the fucking room knows it. When they shut the door.
Most of them.
When she walks out and they shut the door, they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And you can't do that.
No.
You can't do that if you're the director or the casting director or the producer or whatever. You can't react like that, because then they're going to know that they got the part.
Once again, I don't think the director was even clocking what was happening.
No, he wasn't even fucking watching.
That dude was so checked out. He is going to do what he's told. That is a director that just takes the advice of the people around him, gets his cast handed to him, and then he will go from there. Everybody else in that room is who's pulling the strings. And they show that repeatedly throughout the movie, because they do it to Justin Theroux too. The first time we see his character, he is in this boardroom and he's like, what is going on? I don't understand what's happening. Well, you're casting for your new lead, right? You need a new lead for the movie. Just have an open mind. But what they mean is accept what's about to happen in this room.
Right. Your movie is no longer your movie. You don't get to make what it is that you want to make anymore, because the studio heads or the other producers or the money behind it, they've all decided it needs to be Melissa George instead.
That's the girl, Trent.
That's the girl. I love Melissa George, by the way.
She's one of those.
I wish she was more famous.
She's one of those really underrated actresses from that kind of early 2000s, early mid 2000s. And it's like, why weren't you more famous? Because you're really good. She's a fellow Australian. You know, Naomi Watts is another one.
It's true.
And she pops up in these little projects like you love In Treatment.
I do.
That's the thing you know Melissa George from.
The first season of In Treatment is one of the greatest just single seasons of television I've ever seen.
It's exceptionally ambitious, too. It is so many episodes.
And because it's me and I love dialogue and I love two actors in a room going at it.
And every single actor in that show is phenomenal.
And I think Melissa George's section is probably the best out of the 4 or 5.
And I'm sure we'll have more to say about all the other actors in this movie. But let's take a minute, because this is a big movie to process. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsor, and then we will come right back and talk a lot more about Mulholland Drive. Feeling run down, lethargic, a little bloated?
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
Well, have I got the prescription for you?
Oh, no, not another pill. I take enough of those that I find in the dumpster behind the Burger King.
Oh no, it's better than any dumpster pills. It's patreon.com/neverseenitpod.
I'm interested. Tell me more.
It's premium content from those jokers at Never Seen It. They have 4 other weekly shows, plus bonuses.
I've heard of those guys. They're like super talented and funny.
And sexy. Don't forget sexy.
Oh, then I'll definitely check them out. Thanks, disembodied voice.
Anytime. So one thing about this movie is it is almost 2.5 hours long. This is a pretty substantial movie that we're talking about here. But something I noticed today, you had to pause it and we were at about 1:20. And I went, whoa, how the hell did we get to 1:20 in this movie? Because it locks you in. That's the thing about it. You might not know what the hell's going on, but you can't say you don't lock in.
I wish that people out there could have seen my face throughout the entirety of the runtime here, because I was transfixed on everything that is being shown to me. And I credit that completely to David Lynch and whoever is deciding what to focus the camera on. And I think the fact that so many of the scenes that he is really showing me here are really long takes. And not long takes in the fact that, oh, we're following the actors through all these different hallways and whatnot, and it's just a really long scene. There's not much that really happens, but he captures your attention. And what I mean by like my face being whatever it was, like my mouth was open throughout the entirety of the movie, just in wonderment as to what am I even watching here. But again, he just holds your attention the entire time. I don't know what he does.
And at the end of the movie, you don't know what the hell you just watched, but you know you didn't look away and you have to do it again. I think this is absolutely a filmmaker who is just like, I'm going to put some surrealist nonsense on the screen. You are going to be transfixed and then come back and see if you can make sense of it later.
Betsy, this is how I chose to describe this movie and how I felt throughout the entirety of it. This is what I wrote down. It's like the movie is a rocket that you're strapped onto. It takes off with you holding on for dear life. But once it reaches escape velocity, you fall off and you cannot hold on. But as you're falling off the rocket, you are witnessing the majesty of what the director of this rocket is actually doing.
You can see the rocket in all its glory still going off into space without you.
Yes, and I am left behind. That's how I described it in my notes.
That makes about just as much sense as the rest of the movie. So why not?
Yeah. So, I mean, I know there's a lot more David Lynch movies that we could cover here, but this one, I think besides Blue Velvet, is the one that David Lynch is most known for. It's gotta be.
I would say that most people consider this his masterpiece. This is the one that if people say, name one, you can only get one, they'll probably name Mulholland Drive.
It's this one and it's Twin Peaks. But of course, that's a TV show, not a movie. And I know just reading some of the notes here, this movie was gonna be a TV show.
Yes, initially they wrote it as a pilot. They started it. Even Naomi Watts was supposed to star in it. It was a lot of the same actors, really.
Right.
And then they were like, no, we don't want to do that. And I get why it would have started in that fashion, because he had already made Twin Peaks a decade earlier.
And it was hugely successful.
Yeah, it was very niche. I think the people who love Twin Peaks are a very small, freaky group of people.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have gotten a resurgence of that property even just a few years ago. And by all accounts, the reboot show is amazing. You understand why they would take that approach. Like, how do you tell this story? And my guess is he was just going to have all of the things in this movie play out over a much longer period of time.
And you can tell that that's what he really wanted to do here. With a TV show, you're given a whole lot of rope. And you can do whatever it is that you want to do with it. You can spend as much time with more actors, fewer actors, longer scenes. You can have an entire episode in one fucking room. You can play around. And I think David Lynch, from the stuff that I've actually seen so far, he never wants to let your attention go. He's like, God damn it, I'm going to bash this idea into your head as much as I possibly can. And if I can't, I'm going to leave you with so many questions. And it's going to be the consequence of you not letting me show all of what I want to show you.
But like any other artist, he doesn't want to have to explain it to you. You either get it or you don't get it. And most people, you're probably not going to get it on the first watch, and that's fine. You're probably never going to understand this. I don't think there's a single person on planet Earth who can really, truly explain Mulholland Drive, because David Lynch was not interested in explaining it to people. He was constantly asked to give an explanation so people could watch this and understand it. And I said this when we watched Eraserhead. David Lynch is not making a movie to be understood. He is making a movie to be experienced. However, I do want to bring this up, Trent. Because he got pestered so much, he actually made a list of 10 clues as to how to better understand Mulholland Drive. This could be utter bullshit. It could just be something he put together to appease people to stop asking him. But I'm going to tell you what these 10 clues are. So clue number 1, pay particular attention in the beginning of the film. At least 2 clues are revealed before the credits. Clue 2, notice appearances of the red lampshade. And you did notice the red lampshade.
I did, yeah.
Clue 3, can you hear the title of the film that Adam Kesher is auditioning actresses for? Is it mentioned again? Clue 4, an accident is a terrible event. Notice the location of the accident. Clue 5, who gives a key and why? Clue 6, notice the robe, the ashtray, the coffee cup. Clue 7, what is felt, realized, and gathered at the Club Silencio? Clue 8, did talent alone help Camilla? Clue 9, note the occurrences surrounding the man behind Winkies. And clue 10, where is Aunt Ruth? So these are the things he offered for you to better watch his movie.
Betsy, all of those things that you just said made me even more confused.
Now, I will tell you, obviously, I read this before we watched the movie. And so I was trying to remember them because that's a lot of information.
It is.
When you haven't watched this in a while, I think you'd have to really focus in on one and try to pay attention every time. Now, you did notice the red lampshade. I mean, I didn't really understand when I saw it the second time. I couldn't remember where I saw it the first time.
Well, like when they're playing the game of telephone here and all these phones are ringing, there's even a shot here of, I think it was a yellow telephone on the wall and it's got a dial on it. Whoever is answering the phone and saying whatever into the phone, when he hangs it up, he does like a fucking code. He hangs it up a couple of times. He dials one number and then it's on. I don't know what the hell's happening there. Along with, why is that light positioned how it is? Besides the fact that it looks cool, I don't know what the hell's going on there with that light.
So yeah, that one I couldn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense of. But it said 2 clues are given before the credits. Well, the 2 things we see before the credits are the jitterbug and her with the 2 people, I think, that are on the plane. I think it's her and an old couple. My assumption is it's the people she's with when she gets out of the airport at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And the second thing is an unknown head hitting a pillow. So that's the 2 things we see before. And I'm like, okay, so that would certainly lend to the idea that if you're paying attention, you could interpret this is a dream.
And she says she won a jitterbug competition when she's Diane here and talking to the people at the table. So there is some truth to that.
But listen, Trent, there's another interpretation that the entire movie is a dream. that even part 2 isn't real. So it's just like,
I mean, yeah.
okay.
I mean, insofar as any fucking movie is a dream.
Yeah.
Especially a David Lynch thing. By the way, when we did our Eraserhead movie, I made sure to say that movie just felt like so many different dream sequences put together. And I said, man, I would just love if David Lynch had put out a book. Like if he had written down all of his dreams, if he remembers them, if he wakes up right away in the morning and writes down whatever his dream was, even if it's like 3 words.
You would love that stream of consciousness. What did that man actually dream of? If this is what we're getting in movie form, God only knows. Because Trent, I have talked about this before. I have crazy dreams.
You do.
I have really bizarre dreams. And when we cut to that scene, the guy with the eyebrows explaining, I have this dream at the Winkies and you're there. And then there's some horrible face that I can see through the wall.
I can see through walls. And yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on with Mr. Eyebrows.
Or the person living behind the Winkies. They show up a couple of times. The second time they have the box and then the 2 little people dance out of it. What are with the little people? He does this a lot because he did little people in Eraserhead too.
He does. Oh no, Betsy. I'm going to have to live with this for the rest of my life.
I think you're going to too, because as I said, I saw this once and it made no goddamn sense to me.
Yeah, Betsy, I want to know what, if you remember in like 2009 or whenever you said that you saw this movie, what were your thoughts at the time? Did you watch it with somebody? Were you by yourself?
I was by myself.
Oh,
I
God.
had no understanding of the work of David Lynch.
I could not imagine sitting alone after watching this movie with nobody to talk to.
Trent, I was young and I didn't get it at all. I was really confused because I didn't know what to expect, which is why I said, I think I'm way better prepared to watch this today.
Well, yeah.
Because you can just go with the flow. I felt way more like I understood that nothing really happens, but everything is happening. Whereas the non-linear nature of it was really freaking me out. And I only remembered tiny bits of it. Like I remember the scene at the end of the movie when they're at this party and it's like the 2 of them are going to announce they're engaged or something. And they're just sort of giggling with each other. I remember that. I don't know why that has stuck with me.
And you know what? Even that scene feels more like a dream than the first part.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe the whole thing's a dream.
Because, like, you're never really going to get new information from your own dreams because you don't know things that you're... I don't know, this is really circular thinking here. You don't know things that your brain doesn't already know. It's weird to say it like that, but it's true.
No, I follow. You can't dream about things you haven't already got inside your head.
Right, you can maybe come up with ideas.
Electric toilet and make everybody twins.
What is that from?
It's from Baby Mama. She has a dream. She has a dream journal. But when she wakes up, that's the shit she writes down. It's never anything that makes sense or is useful.
No, not at all. Sounds like a David Lynch movie to me. Anyway, Betsy, I don't know what else that we need to talk about here.
Okay, let's talk about Club Silencio. So the 2 women are in bed. And then Rita wakes up in the middle of the night muttering in Spanish. And she says, will you come with me? Come with me somewhere right now. It's like the middle of the fucking night. They go to this weird little club. And this man says, everything is tape recorded. Everything is a tape. You want to hear a trumpet? You want to hear a trombone? You want to hear a clarinet? It's all recorded. So he literally says that. And then this woman comes out and sings a song. And everybody thinks, oh my God, it's so beautiful. She's singing Crying by Roy Orbison in Spanish. And it's gorgeous.
It's beautiful, yeah.
It's a beautiful performance. And then at some point, you realize she's lip singing and she collapses. So once again, what was that? What were you feeling in this scene of this movie?
That guy who was out there just saying words, I think. First of all, he throws his little baton out to the crowd and there's no reaction. You don't hear it hitting the ground or the floor. You don't see if somebody catches it. He just throws it out there.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. What happened to his baton? Number 1. Number 2, Betsy, in real time here, we're gearing up to go to Los Angeles, and I would just like to ask you, can we see a 3 a.m. show like this?
I mean, maybe. I don't know, Trent. This place might exist in some way, shape, or form.
I'm not saying this place in particular. I'm just saying
a place.
Just a place where you would never, ever, ever see anything like this where we live. Are you kidding me? Some artsy fartsy middle of the night art installation that anybody else from this part of the world would just completely dismiss out of hand. But if you're maybe in the right state of mind, you can appreciate it. I don't know.
And also people smuggle mysterious boxes into your purse when you're not looking.
Third of all, the woman up in the what is it, the wings?
Up in the balcony or whatever.
Yeah.
In the box.
She's the one that says Silencia at the very, very end of the movie. What's her deal?
All great questions, Trent. All great questions to which I don't have an answer. But I wanted to ask you about this scene in particular because I brought this up to bring up the Revisionist Almanac again when we covered all our 1976 movies.
Yep.
And we watched The Killing of a Chinese Bookie.
Yes.
The guy in the movie, Ben Gazzara, he is the owner of a strip club. But it's not just a strip club. There's like a weird MC, and it felt really surreal to me. And at the time,
it's a place where they would use the word review.
Yeah.
REVUE.
Yes. And I had at the time mentioned to you that when I watched that scene, this is the scene I thought of because it's just like weird people in the middle of the night in this strange club watching this strange show. Like it should just be a strip joint. It should just be women taking their clothes off. But instead, they've got a guy in like a top hat with a bow tie with weird makeup, and he's doing a whole charade.
Yeah, by the way, the version of Killing of a Chinese Bookie that we watched was the director's cut, so you may not have actually seen this thing.
Or as much of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy is like leading... We're going to have the best show. And it's not just a strip show. It's the greatest thing you've ever seen. And it's like weird, surreal, artistic, but it's a strip club. So I don't know. Do you get that connection now that you've seen this?
I do. I totally do, Betsy, because again, there are weirdos out there that they think that whatever art that they're putting out to the world is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And how do you get your art in front of people? Well, you intersplice it with a whole bunch of titties. Okay?
We put some titties before and after, but then we put the weird shit in the sandwich.
You gotta stay in your seat and watch the real shit. But Betsy, I have one more. I have a fourth. Fourth of all.
A fourth of all.
A fourth of all. Naomi Watts is sitting in her seat witnessing what is happening with this guy. There's weird lights all around, and then her seat is like convulsing and vibrating. What the fuck is happening there?
She's like possessed, and she starts shaking. Yet they don't.
This wasn't a D-box seat.
I don't think it was the seat. I think it was her. But it was like she was struck by lightning. Like he has summoned lightning and thunder, and she is feeling it.
What the fuck, Betsy?
Making it be a dream is the only thing that can explain any of this, Trent. It makes no sense in a world that really exists.
Strange shit happens in LA after dark. That's all I can really say.
All right. Well, I think we talked about pretty much everything, but are there any other scenes that you really wanted to try to break down here? Or any other actors that we haven't really talked about?
Well, first of all, we haven't talked about the espresso guy. That's how I deemed him in my notes. That whole scene of the executives, I think, quote unquote, executives coming into that room with the director and his manager in the room, them coming in to say, this is the girl. They have this headshot of Melissa George saying, this is the person that we want in the picture, which, by the way, she's terrible in that audition. The first guy was much better, but the guy coming in there who keeps on saying this is the girl, he asks for an espresso. And the other guy across the way says, I know that you're really hard to impress, and we imported the best espresso that money can buy, and here it is. And he drinks a little bit of it with a towel, by the way. He drinks a little bit of it, and then he just spits it up.
Yeah, not in like a... like, patoo, it's done kind of way. Like a open your mouth and let it all dribble out.
And maybe this is just his way of saying Hollywood people are fucking weird.
Could be. Could also be, we're emphasizing this guy maybe would change his mind if you got him a good cup of fucking espresso.
I mean, I know David Lynch has a thing about coffee and a good cup of coffee. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Maybe. It's just one of many, many, many moments in this film where I'm laughing. Here's the other thing we have not talked about. This movie's genuinely funny.
David Lynch is fucking hilarious.
Because there are times, and I don't know if it's like a discomfort or it's supposed to be funny. I just know I was laughing.
I'm entertained.
Like when Justin Theroux is going to his house and his wife is fucking Billy Ray Cyrus.
Fucking Billy Ray Cyrus!
No,
Literally fucking Billy Ray Cyrus. What?
So he just silently goes to her jewelry box, takes it out, goes to the garage, grabs a can of paint, pours it over the jewelry, and starts like slapping his hands all over
Pink
it.
paint, by the way.
Pink paint. And then he leaves. And he goes to this fucking cheap-ass, ugly hotel downtown.
Owned by Cookie.
And he finds out he's broke. Why is this explained to him? It just is a thing. Nobody really knows. Nobody understands exactly why. But he is told he has to go and see a cowboy. And he says...
You have to see Cowboy. Not a cowboy.
Sorry.
You have to see Cowboy.
There's this guy. He's called Cowboy. Go see Cowboy. And he says, it's just been that kind of a day.
Yeah.
And when he delivered that line, I cracked up. That kind of sums up this movie.
I feel like
it's just that kind of a movie.
Justin Theroux's character is the audience. That is the audience stand-in here. He's just kind of going through his day and all of these things are happening to him. And it's like, okay, fine. What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
He's experiencing it. We're experiencing it. Just go with it.
And that actually kind of sets up my last thing I wanted to talk about. Justin Theroux. We have talked off mic about Justin Theroux, the actor, and the fact that he has played some really, really weird characters in his career. But I think Hollywood people and people who just like to cast very attractive guys, they want to fit him into a leading man kind of a role. But Justin Theroux is a born character actor.
He has the face of a leading man.
Yeah.
But the acting talents of a character actor. He is so phenomenal when you put him in stuff like this where he's completely deadpan, but somehow is hysterical. Or when I've seen him in other movies, Trent, I saw him in about 4 things before I ever realized it was the same guy. He was on Sex and the City twice over the course of the seasons, and they were both guys that Sarah Jessica Parker dated. But it's not the same guy. He's
Justin
playing different
Theroux,
characters.
he disappears into the characters he is playing.
We didn't talk about this yet. He's in The Devil Wears Prada too. And I almost didn't recognize him. His name is in the credits, and then he showed up on screen. And I'm like, that guy sure looks familiar because he's playing another goofy character. He's in that movie, kind of the dorky guy in high school who made it really, really rich.
Okay.
And now he's in this world he does not understand because people in fashion and other industries are after him for his money. And he's just like, oh, it's great to be here. But I'm just like, how the fuck is Justin Theroux here at all? How is that
How
him?
does he fit?
Because he's got like a receding hairline and a big beard and a mouthful of fake teeth. Because that's who Justin Theroux is as an actor.
Yeah, he is another guy that I wish would have gotten a lot more famous for being a character actor. And honestly, it just makes me want to go and watch The Leftovers, at least the rest of The Leftovers, because I think we watched the first season. We got really, really intrigued. And for some reason, we never went back to it. But he's really good in that show.
It's one of the few times he's gotten to be the lead of anything. And he is a good actor. Don't get me wrong. It's just that he really shines when he gets to do shit like these goofy kinds of roles. He and Brad Pitt have that in common. They also have Jennifer Aniston in common, but that's a completely different conversation.
There you go.
Hey!
Full circle here. But wow, Mulholland Drive. I've finally seen it. I've seen now 3 David Lynch directed movies, and I just want to watch more. I absolutely want to watch more, and I just don't know where to start. Biggest movie May is being very well served so far in this 3rd entry of the month so far. And Betsy, I know you got some extra just facts and figures here like we are doing for all of these movies this month. Go ahead.
So unlike the last two movies we covered, this movie was not one you would call a box office success,
No.
but it has found its audience and it has become a cult movie. It has become a movie that is really, really extremely well respected, and it is a must watch for any movie lover. But some facts about the movie, some stats as to why it was chosen for Biggest Movie May. So this movie was only nominated for a single Academy Award, and it was for Best Director. That was it. It didn't get screenplay, picture, editing, sound, nothing. Just David Lynch got nominated for this movie, and I think that speaks fucking volumes because people at least recognized that what he was doing was a singular effort.
He had something here.
And this was also his third Academy Award nomination. This also meant it was the 14th film nominated for Best Director, but no other categories. And here's something fun for you. Another one of those movies was Blue Velvet. David Lynch, in his lifetime, was nominated for 2 Academy Awards where the movie got no other Oscar nominations. That's kind of insane.
I feel like, based on what I know about Hollywood and Hollywood people, Hollywood loves them some David Lynch, but they don't necessarily like David Lynch's movies.
They couldn't deny his abilities as a director and his talent as a director.
His vision.
But they were like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right, because his movies never made money.
No, and if you think about 2001, isn't that the year that A Beautiful Mind won?
I think you're right.
I think that's where we were. Which, you know, that is a much more accessible movie than Mulholland Drive, so I get it.
Of course.
Anyway, I've got lots more things for you here. The film was chosen by, I'm gonna attempt this. It's in French. Le Cahiers du Cinéma as the best picture of the decade in 2010. Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 stars, his highest rating, and he put it on his list of greatest movies, which is interesting because he does not, historically before this time, like David Lynch's stuff. One of the most heated arguments that Siskel and Ebert ever got into was about Blue Velvet, because Siskel liked it and Ebert was like, fuck you. It was also voted the best film of the 21st century by the BBC Culture Poll in 2016. It's in the Criterion Collection. It is on the list of 1001 movies you must see before you die. The British Film Institute's 2012 Sight and Sound list ranked the movie as the 28th greatest film ever made. When they did it again in 2022, it went to number 8, the 8th greatest movie ever made. This is also on the list I mentioned last week, the New York Times list of the 100 best movies of the 21st century. This ranked number 2.
Jeez, again.
Number 2, Trent. And then also last year, it ranked number 9 on Rolling Stone's list of 100 best movies of the 21st century. So yeah, it is, if nothing else, significant to this century. If we are talking like not all time, it is really, really, really high on people's lists.
I mean, same thing with Crouching Tiger. It's one of these movies from the past 26 years that has stayed with people for one reason or another. Mulholland Drive is a movie that keeps people talking.
Yeah, even though you may not know how to articulate at this moment how you feel about it, you're gonna be considering this. You're going to be thinking about it. And you'll probably at some point revisit this movie to see if you can unpuzzle this puzzle. Because that's the thing about a movie like this and about you and me. We love a puzzle, but we don't like being confused by a puzzle. So we want to try to crack the code. We want to try to figure it out, which is why you keep going back to it to try to make sense of it.
Yeah, and knowing that there is this list of 10 things to look out for just makes me want to watch it 10 more times.
There you go. Well, maybe next time you can look at this list and break it down one at a time, even if you just focus on one thing or 2 things, because 10 is a lot to really do in a single viewing.
Of course.
But I think that's where we're going to leave Mulholland Drive. Maybe by the time this episode is out, we will have been to Mulholland Drive. We don't know exactly what we're going to do when we're in Los Angeles. And now I'm much more inclined to do it, having sat and watched this movie and had this conversation.
Right.
So I guess watch our social media because we'll post about it if we do. But we want to hear from you. What is your stance on this movie? Are you still confused by this? Do you think it's a masterpiece? Do you have some other theories that we didn't address in this episode?
And which David Lynch movie should we cover next?
Send us all of those thoughts to neverseenitpod@gmail.com. And Trent, we have an email from our superfan, Stephanie.
What?
I know, right? It's like she likes to watch movies like we do.
And has things to say.
Exactly. So she sent us an email about episode 400 when we covered The Godfather. She also mentions a movie that we talked about last summer. So she's going back into the archives because this email is about The Godfather and Civil War. So two very different movies.
Very much so. And by the way, when we are soliciting emails from you guys, it doesn't have to be about the most recent episode. We have over 400 other episodes that you can go back and revisit.
So here's what she had to say about those two movies. The Godfather is excellent. Speaking purely on quality, wowza, this one might be top 10.
Wowza is a scientific measurement, I'm sure.
Exactly. When it comes to The Godfather especially, you can sum it up in wowza.
Okay, then.
The cast, production, and writing are all crazy good. There's not much to say that you didn't say in your episode. Excellent.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when we have really, really big movies. We go long because we really want to talk about it because there's no other place for us to do it.
Also, so many people have talked about The Godfather.
Yeah.
What can you possibly add to the conversation? It's more just what did we take away from the episode?
Yeah, and there's a lot there.
She continues, now, if you ask me my 10 favorite films, The Godfather's probably not on there. I haven't watched it in at least 15 years. Watching The Godfather is an experience that everyone should have a few times in their life.
I agree, and I also make the distinction between best movie and favorite movie. And sitting here right now, would I put The Godfather on either of those lists? Not yet. But as you say, it's gonna take some time for me to digest the first time watch and watch the rest of the trilogy and maybe do a rewatch later down the line. It just takes time for me to really process, huge movies like this.
So that's all she had to say about The Godfather. So the next part is going to be about Civil War. I watched Civil War last night. I liked it a lot. I liked that it was a journalism film and that we never get clear answers on what brought our country to this moment. To me, this is an anti-war movie. I think we asked that question. Is this like a pro or anti-war movie? Because people have a misconception of what they think that movie is going to be.
Yeah, you think that going in there, because it is Alex Garland, he's going to have a perspective, but his perspective is about the journalism side of things, not the political one. You don't know what is going on here, and that's what's interesting about it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what it's really about. It doesn't matter what led up to it. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the future. Journalists are covering things as they happen, and then, and only then, can you look back on the actual history and have a judgment on it.
The journalists are just there to capture whatever is in front of them.
Exactly.
She concludes the email saying, it is well written, well acted, and a very visceral production. There are a few scenes that I honestly think will stick with me for a long time. Jesse Plemons and the siege on DC. Love you guys from Superfan Stephanie.
Agreed.
Yeah, that must have been the first time she watched that. And we've only watched it the one time as well. But it definitely sticks with you. That one kind of pops into my head every once in a while.
Yeah, the more time that has gone by since watching Civil War, the more I am appreciating it. And I don't think that at the time, people were really in the mood for kind of an apolitical movie. People want to fucking throw things right now in our current political environment. So going to watch a movie that you think maybe is going to take a stance on things and then it doesn't, kind of turn people off. So I get it.
It's also not about what you think it's going to be about. I had no idea that movie was going to be what it was. So I think people should definitely give it a chance. And I think it's something that we will revisit eventually.
100%. That is a movie that, as you say, I'm probably going to just throw it on someday and start watching it without you, just because that's the mood I get in sometimes.
And it's your kind of a movie trend.
It is.
I know the short list of movies that you'll just start watching at random intervals.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you again to Stephanie for sending that email. As we said, you don't have to email us about this movie. You don't have to email us about the most recent movie. You can pick from any of our 402 episodes that we have out there in the universe and tell us what you thought. We always tell people, play the home game. If there's a movie that we covered that you haven't seen before, listen to the intro of the episode, pause the episode, go watch the movie, and then come back and listen to the rest of the episode to hear us react while you are also processing the movie. It's fun!
That's why we call it the Never Seen It Home game.
And then once you've done that, you too can send your thoughts to neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You could also message us on any of the social media platforms that we're on. We're on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. There's lots and lots of places that you can either comment or send us messages. We're always interested to hear, what did we not know? Did we miss something in the movie? Is there an interesting take that you heard that we didn't talk about? Some fun behind the scenes things. Some movies like The Godfather are so massive, you can't sit there and read everything before recording the episode.
Right, and like there's a bunch of film nerds out there who have completely dissected all of these movies that we're talking about this month down to the frames. So I want to hear from all of the film nerds out there. What are some other theories about Mulholland Drive, and just what are your overall thoughts about David Lynch's career and his entire filmography? And I'm just going to remind everybody and step on Betsy's toes here. Go to our Patreon page, sign up, and listen to our Eraserhead episode and the Elephant Man episode. We get really down in the weeds there, and I know we're going to be talking about David Lynch at the end of this year when we do our award show. So be prepared. Go to Patreon, listen to all the extra content over there.
That address again, patreon.com/neverseenapod. And it's just $5 a month, you guys. We are almost at 2.5 years worth of episodes on Patreon. So we've done, what is that, like 550 movies? Some insane number of movies.
It's a lot of movies.
It is a lot. So go check that out. We really appreciate that support. So that is going to do it for Mulholland Drive. We're only at the midway point, though, Trent. We have 2 more weeks for Biggest Movie May. What will we be talking about next week?
Well, Betsy, believe it or not, we have never covered a movie from this director we're going to be covering next week. We have seen some of his movies off the podcast, or at least off of our podcasts.
We've talked about him on other people's podcasts.
Yeah, but next week we're finally covering a Spike Lee movie, and we will be watching Do the Right Thing.
A movie that will be brand new to both of us. So come back next week for that episode. Until then, my name is Betsy.
My name's Trent.
And we thank you for listening. We'll see you then.
See ya.